Nobody will.
Welcome. It is now 6:30 p.m. and we are here at the Pine Ridge Clubhouse located at 4801 Lakeside Club Boulevard for the monthly Pine Ridge at Fort Myers Condominium Association Board of Directors meeting. Before we stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States of America, I'd like to pause and take a moment of silence to honor longtime owner Matt Stephan, who recently passed away. Okay, thank you. Let the vote
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Eric, will you please call the roll?
John Mount.
Here.
Robert Coles.
Here.
Bill England. Here. John Fricker.
Here.
Scott Harris. Here. Bill Schifano. Here. Tom Trina. Here. Full board.
Was the meeting properly noticed?
Yes, it was.
Do I have a motion to waive the reading of the previous month's minutes?
Make a motion, we waive the reading of the previous month's.
Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Do we have anyone signed up to speak during the open forum?
Yes, we do. The first one is Ron Business.
Good evening. I'm here for one purpose only, and that is to urge the board, while people are still down here before they've gone up north, to consider flood insurance for their first floor units. Now, we've been here for over 35 years and we've never had a major flood. Okay, but the calculations that I did after they built the school was that if we had a tropical storm, which are typically 10 to 12 or more inches of rain within 24 hours, that every first floor unit in here would have at least 2 or 3 inches of standing water in it. So, and it's the responsibility of the homeowners to insure all of their possessions. The association's responsible for the sheetrock, but everything else in there is the owner. And since we're not in a flood zone, flood insurance isn't very expensive for us. Now, the folks on the other side of Orange River Boulevard are in a flood zone, but water doesn't respect streets. It goes where it wants to go. And I think if we had a major storm, we'd have floods. We dodged a bullet with Irma, but if the storm would have gone 5 miles to the west of us, we'd have had more rain, and I'd have probably had water inside my unit. So I urge the board to make an extra effort to get the word out to the owners that they should really consider buying flood insurance. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Vicki Franzen.
Okay, I will. Okay, I have a couple of things that I wanted to bring up. First thing is landscaping. It just seems like there's no color anymore and that things aren't getting done. My bushes around my garage and the side of my unit have not been trimmed in over a month. I don't feel that that's something that I need to put a work order in for, because I thought that was,
Normally it's not, but if it ever happens where it's missed, you know, sometimes mistakes happen with the property this size, let us know.
Okay.
We can send it right over.
but I mean, when you even come in the entrance, it's like, there's no color anymore like there used to be. So I don't know if our, you know, we've just changed with the, you know, what the landscapers are doing, but it just does not seem to be real appealing anymore like it used to be.
The plants are plants, so I mean, the colors will change.
Okay.
Like, we can look at it.
Another thing is, is it in the budget to hire help for Bruce? Because even when he has a temp with him, he has to be with that temp because they don't know where they're going or what they're doing. So it doesn't seem like a lot of things are getting done in a timely manner because it's just Bruce.
From our perspective, everything, we're getting everything done better than we have. So if there's specific things that we're missing, I'm happy to talk to you.
Okay. All right. And then the last thing is, when is the clubhouse going to open up for activities? Bingo?
It's going to be a board decision, I'm not sure.
Okay.
We're not quite there yet, probably another month or so, I would say, at least.
Okay, thank you.
Jack and Mary, or Mary? Conversation?
Yes. Good evening, gentlemen. My question is, I don't know who to direct it towards, is the loungers here, the chairs on the pool deck. What's the status of those, and how how's that coming along?
Eric can address that.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that actually in the manager's
Oh.
report, so just sit tight.
Okay. All right, thank you.
A little deeper voice next time when you come up.
Jackie told.
Hi, I would like to discuss the path between Sailview and Pathway over in the corner. I don't feel it's appropriate that when I walk, I need to walk in between somebody's hallway and startle them in the morning. I think it's the association to open that path and pave that so I can walk safely through that. Now, I understand you guys put some mulch down there, maybe the landscapers did that. There's major roots in that area, and anybody who rides a bike through that on a two-wheeler will hit one of those roots, because today when I walked with the mulch, I twisted my foot a little bit. I'm stable enough to withstand a little twist of the ankle, but a lot of people aren't. So I think that needs to be addressed. I know that over years you have said it's not in the budget, it's too much, but it's how much of the budget? What do we need to do? How much does it cost? Because if you keep pushing something back, it's, you know, it's not good. As far as the landscaping goes, Vicki, I noticed that they planted some perennials on Sailview and Lakeside. They're not as substantial as they used to be. They used to have bigger flowers and more, but they
Yeah,
haven't.
there was if they were talking about the annual flowers, there was a problem with the flowers this year, so we
Yeah.
didn't normally have those red mounds in the main drag coming down.
Yeah.
Right.
And there was a problem with the harvest this year, and we weren't able to get
Okay,
those same
just-
flowers.
but
So
they-
that might be what the
They
color
have
is.
put some there and they have addressed that.
Around that flagpole, I went and bought some myself.
Yeah. That's basically it. I think that it's time, because we said that many times, we don't have the money, we don't have the money. And as far as the chairs go, I don't understand how we're such a big community, and well, not as big as some, that we have to come to the board and say, hey, clean up the chairs. These people, the residents that live here have been here, come for 6 months. They don't need to come up to you and say, hey, my family's coming in, can you put some decent chairs out there? I understand that they're tattered. That is not our responsibility as a community to come to you. It should be like the roofs. when the roofs needed to be done, you have a time frame that you do it. You should see how long the time frame is from season to season in the wear. Before anybody comes in here, November, those chairs need to be replaced and in working condition, so when the owners come in, everything is beautiful. Even when they're not here, they pay. Oh, maybe they didn't.
That's a sign.
That's a sign.
We might want to pay our bill first.
All right, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Well, so much for you two.
You gotta close the room.
Good time to check the generator.
There, I was on the sheet too at the bottom.
Oh, Patrick.
Yes.
Yeah, hit the circle there.
Sorry.
Didn't call your name?
Quick question, just want to know the status on the key reader we're going to put on the back door. Let there be light. Okay, that's all. What's the status of the key reader that
We ordered
you guys
everything.
voted on?
We ordered everything, and the company has one gentleman that does all the computerized stuff, and he's out of town, his father got sick, and they not make it or something.
A lot of
Should be back
excuses,
shortly.
lot of excuses.
I wish it wasn't.
Eric, you want to do this?
Eric, would you please present your managed report?
Okay, hello everybody. The first thing I want to talk about is the tricycle theft. We had a theft in the community Monday night, in the middle of the night. 2 residents from different buildings had tricycles stolen. They were not locked on bike racks. They were underneath their stairwell, unlocked. We have the thieves right on the surveillance cameras, coming in, going out. We're still not going to be able to catch them because it's not at night vision, and people, we have the best cameras up there, and we still can't make them out. And then the police are limited because the bikes were unlocked, and on and on. Well, we have them trying to get in on camera unsuccessfully, and we have them walking out on foot, and then we have them riding out several hours later in bicycles.
Through the main gate?
Get to the main gate, they pushed it open by hand, and we recently installed a high-quality camera system. It's difficult to ID these people. Police are looking for them. They went to the area where there's one homeless. They went to Circle K. They've been looking around. The sheriff wanted to remind me to remind everybody here that even though we have a very nice, safe community here at Pine Ridge, you don't have to go very far outside the gate to encounter quite a bit of poverty, homelessness, and drug abuse. And that last one creates some desperate situations for people, and they'll come in and they'll do things to innocent, good people that don't deserve anything. So we need to be on alert, just because even though we are a safe community here, the surrounding area has a lot of those lower income elements that can bring this type of trouble. We need to be aware of that. I requested the sheriff to provide us extra patrols and extra attention over these next several days, for the simple fact of, I don't want these people to come back thinking we're easy money now and take anything else. So I do not want anything else or anyone else to be victimized by something like this. So part of what we did is they provided us that decoy car at the front entrance, which I think is valuable, especially right now. And we're going to be keep a very close watch on this. And John, on this committee reports come up. John Tyson, the Hazard Safety Committee, he was helping us work on that yesterday. The next thing I want to talk about is kind of revisiting something, but I think some people may have forgotten. We were able to work on this last year. It was right when the COVID-19 pandemic was starting, so some people remember, some people don't, but we had a lot of questions about the Habitat for Humanity project that's going to be built south. And I printed out some maps and some correspondence that we had with the president of the Habitat for Humanity, Lee and Henry County. His name is Rick Mercer. And what I want to do is, I relayed to him our concerns about our lake path and easement, and I'm going to read, word for word to you, his correspondence to us, so that way I'm not relaying them so you guys know directly from him what he said. Eric's very nice talking to you this morning. I'm attaching 2 documents for you to review. We'll certainly work with you folks on the bike path easement, and if our site plan has enough room for our homes in the rear yard area without the easement, we'd certainly consider dedicating that strip of land to you during the plat process. Since I don't have a finalized site plan yet, it's not possible for me to give you 100% certain commitment on this. However, you do have my word that Habitat will work with you to make it happen if at all possible. We want to be good neighbors, and I completely understand how the land was a part of the original future phase of Pine Ridge to begin with. Right now, I don't plan on starting construction until 2024, which means we will start planning and permitting mid to late 2022. If that timeline changes, I'll certainly let you know. I'm copying Sam Marshall, our civil engineer with Banks Engineering, who we've used before, just so you know. Just in case I'm not around for some reason when the planning starts. There is also a small portion of the bike path located outside the easement area, so we should probably go ahead and fix that during the plat process as well. See attached sketch showing that location. Take care, and please feel free to let me know if you have any further questions. So that, at the time and still based on their time frame, is about the best that you can do as far as getting from them, and the fact that they want to be good neighbors is encouraging. So I just wanted to print that stuff out again, give it to everybody exactly what we've corresponded with them, and so you know where we are, and it's 100% transparent, so everybody understands. If there's any further questions about that, feel free to see me, anytime, or email me. I'm happy to speak to you and try to clarify it further. COVID-19 and vaccines. COVID-19 is still a danger. We need to take precaution in what we do, where we go. I'm happy to hear that many residents are getting administered vaccines, and I look forward to returning to normal over the next couple of months. If you're having trouble finding or getting a vaccine appointment, I've been working with a resident, some of you probably know her, Kathy Fox, and she's helped, I think, almost 50 people get appointments for the vaccine. She's got some relationships with local pharmacies, Winn-Dixie, CVS, and Walmart, I believe. And actually helped Bruce get an appointment, which I'm very thankful to her for that. And if anybody is having trouble finding a vaccine or getting an appointment to get a vaccine, if you see me, I'll put you in touch with Kathy, and she's happy to help anybody to do that. It's a very, very great thing that she's doing to help people. And I think it can make a big difference here in Pine Ridge. So if you're having trouble, please see me. If you want to see me after the meeting, she even said there's a way she can maybe get some people a vaccine tomorrow, which would be, about as good as you can do. So, yeah, please let me know either after the meeting or in the next few days if you're interested, and we'll help you get a vaccine with Kathy. Pool furniture. Here I've heard through the grapevine that some have expressed concerns about the condition of the pool furniture. We have an ongoing project reslinging the pool chairs. We did the dining chairs, we replaced the umbrellas, and then probably the mistake that we made, the board made at the time, was on the lounge chairs, the tops were looking really good and the seats were worn. So we made the smart decision of, hey, let's just do the seats. The tops look great still. And then here we are a year later, and for 2 years later, because it's the end of the season here now, and the tops kind of look pretty worn through. So we're in the process of having those redone. We had a little injury at the upholstery shop, so we're going to take some of that work away from them and go to a different shop, because the man who did it was injured and unable to do it for a little while. But I just want to let everybody know that there's a work in progress, and we're doing it. And if we could snap our fingers and have them be done, of course we would do that, but it does take a little time and a little bit of work. Animal trapping. It was reported that our raccoon population was getting pretty bad, and they were getting pretty brazen walking around. So we decided to call in our animal trapper and thin the population out as we do from time to time. And over the last 3 weeks, we tried to remove 64 critters. So I would say we did pretty well. Last month, we had our fire extinguishers inspected in service. Today, we began inspection of our local fire alarm systems. We do that every year. We had our pool inspected. Everything came back perfect this past month, so Bruce is doing a good job there. The dryer vent cleaning is scheduled for next month. This is for the shared vent stacks on the multi-story buildings. We also negotiated a heavily discounted price for residents if you want your individual dryer hoses serviced by the dryer vent company. It's much, much less than what they would charge you otherwise. So I recommend if you're interested in that, take advantage of it. There's flyers posted at the mailbox, and they try to schedule everybody up, how they can work to just kind of schedule people back-to-back type of thing. So call them, get your name on the list for whatever day it's going to be, and you can save a lot of money if you're interested in that. You don't need that every year, though, guys. Like if you had it recently, you can probably make it through. And you can tell by the way the driver how it's working. If you're having any weakness at all, you might want to consider it, but you don't need it necessarily every year.
Eric, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Does that apply to the villas too, or just the condos?
The villas can take advantage of the discounted offer, but the association is only responsible for the condos because they're shared on the multi-story. But yeah, you can take advantage of the discount. We installed a new barbecue area between buildings 201 and 202. So people are already enjoying that, so it's nice. And if you have any other questions or concerns, fill out our work order, email me, email Pamela, see one of us. We're happy to help you with anything we can, and we'll help you as much as we can. Thank you.
Okay, Scott, will you please give us your treasurer's report?
Yeah. It's very short, as usual. The association remains on budget, and we're not having large unexpected expenses. We have the ongoing precautionary measures, and there's been some maintenance and replacements, but that's been covered by flexing the budget and by reserves. So our finances overall are in pretty good shape. For people who look closely at the summaries and the financial documents, a payroll item was reported in the accountant's summary as being over budget, but it was an error. And we're actually under budget. I saw the words over budget, and I lost my mind, and we checked it, and we're under budget. They had, in the health insurance program, their co-pays on the premiums, and they had to combine those erroneously, so we're good. Last report on accounts receivable. Eric can correct this if there's new information. Consists of 15 owners, 4 of whom are the attorney for collections. One owner is already in collection process, and there's 10 that owe small amounts, and those are usually caught up pretty quickly. Budget committee will not meet during the period of COVID-19 precautions. Any questions you have about the budget, you can direct by email to the office. The insurance company threw us a curveball last year on the premium. So several of us were at a Community Officers Association meeting, and we talked to an insurance broker, and it seems possible they might do that again this year. So we'll probably wait till late in the year before we bake in the budget anyway. We have to go back and change some things and to get the money for the insurance and to get everything to balance out the way it did. So we're not in a big hurry. All the financial documents, as always, are always available at the office. We distribute the balance statement and sheet, and I don't know if people are aware, if you want more detail, like if you want to do your own little audit, there's like a 65-page monthly that lists everything, all of our expenses and all the budget items, where we are on the budget, and at the end is every bit of our ledger, which is all of our outgoings, our H.8 Myers and Burkholz. Brett Holtz. I've been calling him something else that begins with a B, but that's okay. So I'm drunk. They're our agent. They receive all of your dues and our major bills like electricity and water. They're directly there. The other process on bills here, we don't have we don't keep a checkbook. We don't keep any cash, anything. We don't take cash. When the bills do come in here, every 2 weeks, Eric sorts them. He examines and reviews them for anomalies or errors, and he codes them. He puts that together in a package, and he sends it to M&B. They get it. They review it. They look for errors and anomalies. They look to see everything's been coded. And then they start to generate the check, second review. Third is, I was going to put it up on the TV. After they get done, they email me the check register, facsimiles of all the bills and invoices, and a little tape. Then I review that for anomalies and errors, make sure all the questions have been answered. I make sure every invoice and bill has been coded by Eric and checked by the accountants and the bookkeepers. I match the bills with the check register, and if everything looks good, then I send it back, okay to pay. And then they send out the checks, and that's how we do all of that here. I just thought I'd throw that in, because my treasurer's reports are usually really short. But with that I'm done. I appreciate your help in saving money.
Okay, thank you. Before we give committee reports, I have an announcement. With Isabel's departure for the board, I have asked Scott Harris to resume as chairman of the Landscape Committee in her place. Then the other one is for Tom Torino will be established as a new website committee. We'll look forward to seeing his work on this project very soon. Do we have any committee reports?
Yes. The Architectural Review Committee had its first meeting. We're going to continue to have monthly meetings on the third Sunday every month at 2 p.m. at the gazebo picnic table out here. And currently we're reviewing the architectural guide just to be more in tune with that.
What time is that meeting?
That will be third Sunday, 2 p.m. And then we have the Rule and Regulations Committee. The current rules appears like it was in the middle of an update. So the current version has verbiage that is deleted and added. So that that'll be cleaned up a little bit, and we'll report back to the board on anything we discover in that. We will have our meetings on the third Sunday every month, 1:30 at the picnic table shelter. If anybody would like to be involved in the Architectural Review Committee, we could use a few more people on there. And anybody that's interested is welcome to join us. Thank you.
Billy, you want to go, Bill?
Yeah, okay. Our committee met last Thursday and discussed a few projects that we feel needs to be addressed. One thing we talked about was completion of the landscaping at the fountain at the entrance of the community. And this is something that you brought up earlier about not having any color, and that's what we had talked about also. We have a whole lot of green in our community. We have very little color, and that's something that, you know, just you can't just snap your fingers, like you say, and make it disappear. But we'll just have to work on it a little at a time and try to get it done. Says the next thing we discussed was adding lighting to at least 10 of the palm trees as you come into the community. The ones that on the inside of the community, the taller palms, with the LED lights, the ramp lights around those trees, just to make it look a little better as you come in and give it a little bit better look, I should say. We talked about the flowers at the entrance. They did that once before, but someone wanted them more than what we did, so they come and pulled them up and took them over and planted them somewhere else, I guess. They stole them, basically. So, that's something we've got to consider when we do the landscaping out there. We've got to watch. We know we may lose them again, or do we want to put those flowers inside the gate to make it look better as you get in the gate? I mean, it's just something we'll have to look at and discuss. Some of you may have noticed the tape grass that was growing along the west side of the lake. That's about 6 foot from the seawall out. There's a lot of grass that's growing in the lake. I talked with Mike Sweeney, which is with the Advanced Aquatics. That's the guy that takes care of our lake for us. He sent a guy out and they sprayed that with an environmentally correct spray to kill those things out. They're starting to die a little bit. It's just going to take a while to get them completely gone. So hopefully we can get those all taken care of. Eric ordered new cushions for the pool out here. The cushions in the corner over there in that area, those were torn and all. He'd had some on order and finally got those in and had those put into place. He'd also talked about the chairs, rewebbing of those, and that's an ongoing project. And also our next meeting will be held at April the 16th at 4 o'clock out at the gazebo behind the clubhouse here, and everybody's welcome to attend and bring any ideas or suggestions, complaints, concerns, or whatever you have at that time. Or you can give me a call anytime. I keep my phone on, and it's 239-940-5064, or you can send me an email at Bill, or it's b.england1900@gmail.com. I'll get back with you. Thank you.
Any other committee reports? No? John.
So we have the safety committee up next. So as you know, we had a couple thefts the other night. I've been busy. We need to actually look at all of our rules and regs where the bikes can be. A lot of the bikes are in the hallways, under the stairs, chained to the stairway railings, which is very dangerous. And we will have to do something down the road because we need to either get new bike racks, or people are going to have to bring the bikes in. And it's a shame that it's had to go that way, but you know, it's dangerous for everybody. There's not only three-wheelers out there, there's four-wheelers, there's kids' bikes, there's adults' bikes. So it's a dangerous situation, and we're going to have to, you know, fix that. We will have to make an announcement, you know, through our CAM, Eric. So we're going to have to put down a certain time that you're going to have to remove the bikes or move them to a bike rack. So please keep this in mind, because the sooner you guys that have those bikes comply, the easier it will be. And if the people aren't here, we may end up having to remove some of those bikes. So if you have friends or relatives that have keys to the locks, we'd appreciate it if you gave it up. Camera systems. So I did research on a camera system for the whole compound, and it was very expensive. And I know that we're looking to save money every day of the week. So My suggestion again, this will be the second time I made this, is the Ring doorbell cams or the Ring spotlight cameras. And they really work. I can catch nosy next door neighbors walking by. I can catch animals out there trying to get lucky. So, you know, they will catch anything and everything that moves. And it would behoove every one of us to have one. The more security you have, the less people are gonna come in.
Yeah, just to add to it, if you don't mind, we actually really seriously looked at doing a community-wide surveillance, and it wasn't actually just the money and the funds, because if we could buy the cameras and do it, you know, the board usually votes for safety items, the communication capabilities and the infrastructure in the community. A camera on a pole doesn't do anything unless it can communicate back to where you review it. So we don't have community-wide internet, which is basically what you need. So at these remote locations, we can't connect. The reason why we can watch our front gate is because it's all connected through the web. So because we don't have the infrastructure there, even if the board said, go get the cameras and get whatever you need, it would prevent us from doing that. And then the other thing that the police told me about the bike rack, keep your bike on a bike rack rather than underneath the stairs by itself, is the bad guy loves to go into the corner and grab something that's sitting there. What they don't want to do is go where there's 25 bike racks where 40 or 50 people might glance over there at any given time, you know, because they're walking up. Because more people have a vested interest if it's in one central location. So I'm not saying that would have made a difference in this case. I don't know if it would. It seems like they were here for a fair amount of time, looking for what they were going to take. But in general, it does help it be a little more secure by keeping it in the designated spot, because more often than not, someone's going to glance over there because their bike might be there too, and they might see what's going on, versus tucked away in a corner where no one's going to see their bike.
So I have another subject. We do have a group of feral cats in here. People are feeding the feral cats. They're getting fat and lazy like me. What we really need to do is not feed the cats and allow them to go back to nature so that they can catch the rats. That's the main thing that we have the feral cats for. So please, if you see your neighbor out there doing something, please just ask them nicely, you know, please don't put out the food. We really need to get them back in nature's way and let them take care of all of the rodents that we have. Our next safety meeting will be announced, but we're going to have another meeting with the police and the sheriff's department, and we're going to discuss some other ideas with them, and we have a community sergeant that is giving us some direction. We do have some people that have musical talents that have volunteered their time to come out and play for people on Wednesday, Fridays. We're trying to hook that up right now. They would come out here to our bandstand and provide some music free of charge. I need to hook it up with my social committee, so that's on my burner. So we do have volunteers that want to actually, you know, come and play for us, and I think that's a great thing. The more volunteers we have, you know, the better it's going to be. So please, if you have anything to offer, we'd love to hear about it. And again, Ring doorbell cams or Ring spotlight cams. They're the best.
How much do they cost?
All you need is an internet, $89 to $90. So, and you need an internet though. Okay, so please, everybody think about it. It's going to increase the security in here, and we'll have something for the sheriffs when they show up to take an incident.
When the bicycles were taken, the first question I asked is if maybe one person on that floor had that camera out of the 4 people, maybe we would have got it, but it just wasn't the case.
May I add one thing to that? We was here the other evening when the deputy came out and was talking about that. He also mentioned that even though they may go out here and catch them with the bicycle outside of our facility here, unless you've got a serial number or something on that bike showing that it's yours, all they have to do is say, hey, this is mine. And how are you gonna prove that it's not? So if you have one that has a serial number, or you could put your, part of your social security number or something in it to show that if they do find it, that it is yours. And they, without that, they said they couldn't do anything. So just a little food for thought.
Yeah, don't give it.
But that is, Bill's exactly right. The officer said, even if, like he went over, if he left here, went to Circle K, and found a person with a brand new 3-wheel bike, and it looked pretty clearly that it came from here, and the person says, I didn't steal it, it's mine. Without any backup on our side, as far as serial numbers to match, they would not be able to the person would have to admit that they did it, basically, so they'd have to be scared or make a mistake and admit that they did it. And many times these people are comfortable with the police because they've been around them before, so they don't make that mistake. But that is something to think about. If you don't have any chance of getting your stuff back and the person's getting in trouble for it, any documentation about it. So if you're leaving something outside unlocked, expect it to get stolen, so you should definitely keep that stuff.
John, just one from me there.
Okay, go ahead.
As I'm back on landscape, I guess maybe go back to meeting as we used to. I haven't had a chance to look at the calendar to see if it conflicts, but we used to meet second Tuesday of the month at 2 p.m. So it's 222, second Tuesday, 2 p.m. We can take your notes, bring them, and then we'll get Eric to get us a golf cart or something, and maybe we'll take a quick run around the community and see what's going on.
Say about our Italian cypress trees.
Oh, yeah. I was trying to think of something different. We were chatting, and I thought, you know those Italian trees that grow up like real pencil shaped? And I thought, you know, that would be different. I don't know if they would grow here, but it's a style of plant that we don't have. And it's a strong vertical, it's very thin. I thought that would be eye-catching, people would notice it, and maybe they don't cost too much, so, okay, fine. Hey, I bought 3 trees. It's like, okay. So anyway, they'll be out here by the bocce, and we hope, because what got me was that blank spot. So maybe they'll grow well here, and it will be something we can add to our palette of plants that we can use later.
It's a very rich look, what they grow.
Yeah, and maybe put one out at the front entrance and maybe a couple along the, but let's find out if these grow, because we don't want to buy a bunch of stuff and then it dies because it doesn't like it here.
Are they arborvitaes?
Hmm?
No.
Are they arborvitaes?
What is that?
What type of?
It's an Italian cypress tree.
It's
The
the
only
pencil.
thing I'm concerned about is it not holding up in any wind, because it is so thin.
They normally plant them very close to the houses and that, so I think these are probably
And because we don't spend much money, these are very tiny plants right now. It'll be a while. So we'll see how they work out. But anyway, second Tuesday, 2 p.m. We'll see you there, and we'll try to get a golf cart too. That's good.
Where is that?
We'll meet here and then go out.
John?
I'm not supposed to be taking discussion from the floor, I'm bad, but I haven't been here for a while. I'm just bad.
I wanted to update you on the
Go ahead.
web meeting. We did have a web committee meeting on Sunday, and kind of laid the groundwork for securing a application or program that allows us to not have to reinvent the wheel, and have something that's set up for that. And Joan Fricker and Marcia Trino have been instrumental in helping us secure that and work with it. We don't have another meeting set. It should be probably within the next 2 weeks, and I'll announce that. But currently, we're just doing some investigation of what some other communities have done and how we can make this website interactive and serve the community the best. And that's what we hope to achieve.
One of the things that we talked about with the website was that the current website we have is a very good utility because there's a lot of different things and you can have your documents and things like that on there, but it looks, you know, like it was from 1992. It doesn't look like it's a modern website that a nice computer has. So we were thinking maybe to have that as a utility type website for legal documents and things like that, but then have a marketing type website that is impressive. So you have like a .com and a .org. But, okay. Well, we could talk about that. They can link together, but what we have is the program we have is made for communities, so it has the address book and that stuff built in it. So it's good to have both, but I'm sure they can integrate.
Yeah, we're going to look at all the options and see. We've got a lot of information on the current website, certainly, and we'll absolutely include all of that.
Can you integrate the next door? I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah. But we're in exploratory, and we'll announce that next meeting if anyone has an interest or some talent they can offer. That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Okay, it appears that we do not have anything on the agenda tonight under new or old business for the board to consider or vote on. But before we adjourn, we will take questions from the audience about anything we have spoken about this evening. Holy smokes.
I'm not even gonna, I'm just gonna go first. Where is the line between the lakes and the amenities and landscaping? Because it sounds like that he's talking about plants and all that kind of stuff and.
The landscaping would be plants and amenities would be like the pool and games and the picnic area.
Okay, that makes sense to me and I understand that.
But I
That's not
think,
what he's saying.
I think they do somewhat overlap and working together if there's an interest is a good idea. But I think he was talking more about putting lights on trees.
Well, we had met when they started working again on the fountain out there.
Right.
And with the landscaping committee, we were overlapping at that time trying to decide what kind of flowers and all would look good around the fountain. And that's the reason I was talking about that. That just came up in the meeting because that was part of the, when we started reworking the fountain to try to get some flowers around it.
Okay, I guess the other question is the color of the fountain still open for debate?
No, not right this second, but maybe in another forum.
I've heard quite a few people in the community say that. Okay, so you might want to reopen that discussion about the color of the fountain.
Do you have a color? Like salmon or anything?
Okay. No. Next question is just another observation. There's a lot of talk and a lot of comments in the community about the maintenance that's getting done around here and the fact that we don't have enough people doing the maintenance. And the board, where the CAM's response to that is, we're not seeing that problem and we're not having that problem, but I'm here to tell you, your community and the people in the community have a problem with it.
So can we go on?
Yeah.
If you're happy, you guys have specific things that aren't being done, I'm happy to look at that with you.
I think it's literally at the point where people do not fill out work orders and do not want to have things done and request things to be done because they know that Bruce is the only one doing it and they feel bad for him.
Yep.
It's not,
it's not fair. I'm telling you what I'm hearing, okay, and I'm telling you what people don't want to say to you. So that's that. And then, Scott, I really think we need to have budget meetings. I know that we're in COVID, but every other committee has had them and is having them. And we did not have any budget committee meetings last year about the budget at all. And I think that budget is very complicated and very detailed, and it's very hard to just look at it by yourself. And I think we need to have some communication about what's going on with the budget.
Well, I sent you the budget materials last year, and we did have meetings until we went into
We had
Precautionary
meetings
measures.
up until March of last year, so it's been a year
Right.
that we haven't had them. So
Right.
when we, at the beginning of the year, we do the reserves, and we hadn't finished the reserves. And at the end of the year, we do the operating budget, and we didn't have any meetings at the end of the year. Yes, you do send out all the paperwork, and I appreciate that, but it is a very,
We welcome any
And-
notes.
yeah, it's a very,
That's why I sent it to you.
yeah,
was
I know,
for
but
your
it's a very
response.
involved and very detailed process, and it takes a long time to get your arms wrapped around it. And it's something that when we have a conversation, it's easier. I don't think that the average person in the, and I've been on the budget committee for 8 years or 7 years, and
Yeah.
I still have a hard time, and we just changed all the spreadsheets in the last year, so it's still sometimes a little difficult to follow it.
Well, I re-engineered it 3 years ago to make it simple.
Yeah, no, and that was good, and that was good, and I
And
appreciate it.
hopefully very soon, all you guys go out and get your shots. Turn off the TV and go out and get your shots, and this community can get back.
Well, I don't know
to
if we wanna go
business.
there, because the governor has opened the state, and the state's been open for a long time.
Yeah.
So-
There you
go.
And yeah.
Marcia?
Sorry. I said I wouldn't do this. I want a couple of questions. Do we have adequate lighting at the entrance, so that we're as a deterrent for people coming in? Or is that something that needs to be looked at? Don't know. I put it in 3 work orders to have the light at Blackberry looked at, and I've never gotten anything back at all. So I'm still very concerned about the safety on our end of Blackberry. It is very, 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 very dark.
You have an address?
Yes,
What,
I
the
do,
lighting? I don't go out and
4741 Blackberry. I'm wondering, John, if there were, John Mall, if there's any way that we could maybe work to do some group purchases of ring, because you say that, and I think, I don't know what to go buy, and what I looked at was over $200. So
That's the
maybe-
one you want.
No, that's.
Just saying,
Yeah.
if you pay for something that's good, it's gonna have much more detail.
Right.
I can pick somebody up in the middle of the night, walking,
Then that's what you.
and I know who it
We
is.
want what John. Okay, so just thought about that. And then Eric, you guys did some great things tonight with talking about your committees and what you've done, and the people here or whoever are able to watch or listen to this, heard this. And I'm wondering, Eric, if some of these things like the bike rules, the cats, the rings, can go out in an email or whatever, so everybody gets
I've
that
been
information.
emailing since the beginning of the year. I've been emailing every month the
I know
minutes
you have, and
from
we
the-
love
from
it.
these meetings, and everything that we say is included almost like a narrative, the way we
Yeah.
write it. We don't do it like normal minutes where they only play certain
Right.
things. We literally
And I
almost
know
word for
people
word.
are
So
really
if people read
appreciating
that,
that.
they will definitely get all of this.
And then my one thing kind of goes back to the Bruce situation or maintenance situation. My understanding is the pool needs to be checked daily. And if we only have a maintenance person 5 days a week, who checks the other days for chemical balances and cleaning?
Bruce is paid to come in on Saturday and Sunday mornings to check in.
Thank you, I did not know that, learned something, thank you.
We have systems in place.
Mhm.
So Vicky is first.
Vicky?
Ron, you'll be next, okay?
Okay, getting back to the security for the entrance, I mean, that's awesome that we have cameras that are good quality, but if you're not able to see the person, could we get some motion detector lights out there?
It's not that we have quite a bit of light up there. You know, we've installed many lights over the years, so it all adds up to.
But at 3 o'clock in the morning, if a motion detector light comes on because somebody's walking,
And they're night vision cameras also. So
it's either gonna enhance the visual of the camera, and it could even deter somebody from doing something they're
Not
not
to
supposed
say
to.
more light shouldn't be up there, but I know we've added light over the years. I don't know that lighting would have made a difference in this case, but and we're happy to show you the video if you want to find it.
So the lighting was sufficient, and you could see it was a guy and a girl, and you could pick them out, but, it's very hard, You know how many people that are living over in that area that would love to come in and you know, steal stuff and then sell it and then go cop their drugs. It's, you know, it's crazy, but we can do a million things, but it's gonna be very expensive. And
When our entrance got hit by lightning last year, I was able to negotiate with the insurance company to get all new cameras in here. It was a $12,000 camera system that they put in, much more expensive than the one we had before. Very lucky. And the video is pretty good. I mean, like, you know, it's mainly designed
He just showed
it's
me.
mainly designed for automobiles. If we had a license plate, we would have been at the person's house and getting the bikes back.
Right.
But because they rode them out on bike, they came in on foot, it makes it very difficult for them.
Okay. And just the other thing, Scott, that was very inappropriate of what you said about people getting the vaccine. First of all, that's a HIPAA violation for you to ask me if I've gotten it. I mean, it's a personal thing. It's no different.
I apologize.
It's no different than people getting the flu
I
shot.
apologize. It makes me nervous being around people, a little anxiety. I crossed the line. I'm very sorry.
Well, as long as we're busy flinging alligators, I'm gonna fling one at you guys too. It's about time that we start looking at Comcast again. Their contract will be up in, I think, a couple of years. And a lot of the problems that people are talking about with regard to security and cameras and monitoring and that kind of stuff can be solved if we had a decent internet system in the community. And I don't know about the rest of the people here, but my TV gets pixelated. Every now and then you see it. And basically what that is that's Comcast trying to put 10 gigabits through a 5 gigabit system. And what we have is a system here that was installed in 1985. Physically, it's never been upgraded since that time. Comcast has technically upgraded their end of it, but in fact, what we have is really antiquated. And I really would like the board to start looking at this thing long before the contract with Comcast comes up, because I think something has to be done. We need to take them to the woodshed. Anyway, that's...
You're in charge.
Thank you, Ron. Your comment earlier on the flood insurance is valid. And just as a side note to that, that's a storm. Another thing is something fails in your apartment, and that's covered in the rules. If you're going to be gone from your unit for more than 3 days, you should be shutting the water off at the main valve so that you don't have a situation that you have a flood at your property and perhaps flood out your neighbors.
Just for clarification though, flood insurance is water coming from the outside into your house.
Right.
If it's something in your house like a plumbing issue that causes a flood, that is your regular homeowner's insurance that they should have. So, you know, both are floods. I understand where that can be, but when they talk about flood insurance, they talk about water coming from the outside of your house in the house.
I'm an old man, can I go sit down?
One more.
Side note on the Comcast situation of pixelating, if you do have that, I understand what you're saying, Ron, about upgrading and everything else, but if your system's pixelating, you should be calling for service. Most likely your cable is compromised coming into your unit. They've replaced quite a few in the community because they've been cracked, cut, or had corrosion issues.
I just had a question. Would it help if you changed, all right, I'll talk louder, I'm short. Okay, would it help if you changed like the code every now and then getting in the gate? Would that help with anything?
Code for what?
You know, like people getting in, a lot of people getting in and stuff, would that help?
With what?
With, you know, like I see people come in and they're like right here, and then someone's right behind me and they just pile in right with me, and I know they don't have a code or anything on their vehicle, but I'm saying like punching code, if you change that every now and then, would that help? Maybe getting, you know, not getting different people in?
Well, the only code that ever really gets publicized is the one that realtors use because they end up giving it to the clients.
Okay.
So that one we do change frequently.
Okay.
And what we do is we actually collect data from the system and we analyze that. So like if we see the realtor code being used at 11 o'clock at night, usually nobody is just selling condos at 11 o'clock at night, and we know that there's a problem, and then we'll go ahead and change it. So we look for like anomalies like that where there's.
Okay, I just thought maybe that may be better. And Shannon, I did appreciate everything you said, and I did appreciate everything that Vicki said. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you.
I'm nicely gonna put in a height requirement.
Thanks, Kate. And if you notice somebody that's tailgating, you're suspicious, you think they're trying to get in, stop the car. The gate will close. They don't have a transponder, it will not recognize them, it will close.
It's only gonna stay open.
Yeah, but you still have that stop sign for
Yes.
these property owners, and they're not abiding
doing
by
it.
that.
They're not doing
And
it.
that is so irritating when
Yeah.
somebody is right on your tail.
Yes.
I mean, I can see that they have it, but
Yes.
they're not, it's a stop sign. Stop sign means the
No, I
same
mean,
here as
stuff
what it
like that
does
is
in
frustrating.
California.
It's frustrating, like I was saying, we have 2 bicycles stolen, ridden out the gate. We have the people on camera, clear as day, riding them out the gate, and we still can't catch the people. What do you do about that? What can you, I mean, I guess have a guard up there. Maybe that would, but it also maybe wouldn't. We used to have guards where I worked before I came here, and we had very specific post orders, a whole binder of exactly what you do in any situation that could come up. And the bottom line was if somebody came up, someone came up with a gun, a crazy person came up with a gun or something, and says, let me in right now, the book says let him in. You know, so I mean, there's no perfect situation. Like, we're fortunate this is a safe community, and we don't have much of this type of thing. Tailgating in, same thing like the speeding, same like the stop sign at the 4-way. It's, every community battles that exact problem, tailgating, speeding, and it's not an easy thing to solve, you know. It's not an easy thing to solve.
So the more people that file an incident report for somebody tailgating or somebody speeding, have their tag number, write it down, come into the office.
Yeah, well, we have, I mean, we have the surveillance, the gate gets knocked off, we called the police before, they run the tag, they called the person, they run right back here, oh my God, we're so sorry, and they have to use a car insurance to repay the
If
damage.
it's somebody following you that's a property owner, they're behind you, so you can't get a license plate unless you pull over and let them go by.
We have cameras, but, you know, if it's a property owner with a tag on their car, you know, I'm sure there are people in this room that don't follow that stop sign. Like everybody too, we put it in for a reason, but, you know, that they don't. So, property owner coming in, that's one thing. But if anybody is coming in that's not supposed to, and you'll see the gate start to come down, sometimes it'll pop back up because it's programmed not to damage the equipment or the car, hopefully, but many times it does get hit, and we normally catch the people, and they pay for it.
I might have missed this earlier, I apologize if I did. How did these people walk in? You say they pushed the gate open?
That's how they came out.
That's how they came out. We don't know how they got it. So they were able to just
We
pull
have-
the gate?
We have them trying to get in on camera and not being able to, and then walking out like they're giving up, you know.
And they tried like what, pushing the gate?
They just walked up to, it looks like they just like looked at it trying to get in, and then they must have went out and went around, so we went looking
Sure.
for breaches, and we couldn't find anything that they would be able to get through. We'll show it to you after.
Okay.
Um,
But leaving then, they were able to just force the gate.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's designed not to, I mean, it's designed to do that.
Yeah, there's a clutch on it, so
Yeah.
it's just.
Yeah, I mean, those gates, if you
You're right.
go into those swing gates, that's the way they work, yeah.
Okay.
most of the time, nobody would go up and push it, you know.
I just want to clarify one thing. Scott, you do a great job with the budget. It is not an easy job. Okay. It's a very big process and a very big job. And it's greatly appreciated, and I thank you for what you do.
Well,
So I was not trying.
I was here
to
until
hurt.
August, and then I just
Yeah.
got back, so the meeting, and I tried to get you the information, and just.
I just want it clear that what you do is very good and very appreciated, and I just would like to see some things start to get moving. But you do a great job, thank you.
We'll be talking.
Okay, I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Thank you.
There was a young girl, like Bonnie and Clyde, when they come up, they're holding hands, or they're Bonnie and Clyde.